That's weird. Why did your ex text you? When an ex texts you out of the blue, it's confusing, so let's talk about 10 different reasons why your ex might do this. I usually like to start with the obvious, so the number one is that something reminded them of you, and it could be something like an anniversary, a birthday, it could be somewhere that they were, that maybe you used to go. Any of these things could remind them of you and make them want to reach out and text you. Of course, it doesn't have to be those obvious things. It could be even something as simple as a feeling reminds them of you, or something that was sitting on their kitchen counter that's been there forever. Maybe they looked at it differently and something about that reminded them of you, maybe a story in their head. You're probably wondering though, why would they reach out because of that? And there could be a lot of reasons, and some of those reasons we'll go over here on this list. But in general, it's something inside them was stirred up, a feeling, whether they wanted to connect because they're interested in you, or maybe they just thought something was funny, or maybe it was just more of an impulsive thing. The second reason that your ex might text you out of the blue is because something really terrible could have happened. This could be any number of things, from just losing a friendship to a death in their family to losing a job, getting into an accident. All kinds of different things can happen, and they can put us in a point in our lives when we feel really low. And when we feel low, or when we feel vulnerable, maybe we're reminded of our own mortality, that may cause us to want to reach out to people in our lives that we've cared about before, including you. Generally, we'll do this because we want to let somebody know that we did care about them. We want to make sure that it was clear, or maybe we feel vulnerable and we're seeking safety. In a relationship, even if you're an ex, that may be the last place where they felt safe, and they may come back feeling like, okay, maybe things didn't work out. Maybe they didn't feel safe at the end of the relationship, but they're reminded of how things were at some point in the relationship, and they're trying to get back that sense of safety and security. Sometimes after a breakup, we feel like we're independent, we can do things, we're feeling confident, but then later on when something really hits us, we go seeking the person that we were last with, because even though we were feeling so independent and great in the moment, once the shit hits the fan, we are not so great by ourselves. We're social creatures, and we do need to have human connection. And if your ex is not feeling like they have friends that they can trust, family that they can trust, then they may seek you out. The third reason that they might text you out of the blue is one of those bad reasons, one of those things that might have knocked them on their knees, and that could be that they broke up with their current partner. Maybe after you, they jumped into a rebound relationship, or maybe they jumped a little too soon. Maybe it wasn't quite a rebound, but they never really learned to be by themselves, and so here they are, they're fresh broken up, and they're seeking comfort from you for the same reasons I just talked about. Our mind tends to go back to the last place of safety, and you might have been that place, and especially if they're still reeling from the deep emotional pain of their current breakup, then it may remind them of the last breakup, and they may think things over again and think, wait a minute, maybe things weren't so bad with you, with their ex, with you and your ex together. Maybe things weren't so bad as they imagined now that they're in the middle of a new breakup and things seem really painful and intense. And that leads me into the fourth reason, which is that they may have decided that they want to try things again. Now, this doesn't mean that it has to be immediately after a breakup. They could have broken up with their partner a long time ago, but it could be that they're reaching out because they're testing the waters. They want to see, is this something that we can do again? Maybe they're having regrets. Sometimes after going through time apart, after going through different life experiences, we grow, we mature, we see things from a different perspective, and maybe we realize that we were a jerk in that relationship, and maybe we realize, okay, the things that I thought were so bad, they're not as bad as they really were. So your ex may be texting to just see how things are with you and see if you're in a new relationship, and is that door even open? Is that a possibility? Because let's face it, getting into a relationship and keeping a relationship is a lot of hard work. And if you guys had something working for a little while, it's maybe worth the time and investment to go back and fix the issues that were there, rather than to go out into the dating pool where you don't really know what you're going to get. However, your ex may not actually be ready for a relationship. That may not be where they're thinking, but it brings me into my fifth reason that they might have texted you out of the blue, which could be that they're thinking of wanting to be friends again. Maybe it's been a long time, the romantic feelings are gone, or maybe they're still recovering from an old breakup and they just don't think it's right. And that would be a mature thing actually to think, like maybe this is not the right time to get into a relationship with somebody, but they're considering like what's going on, and they're thinking, all right, maybe in the future we'll have a relationship together. So they may start wanting to just reach out and see if you want to hang out. Or a relationship could just totally be off the table in their mind and they're just lonely, they just want friends, and like I said, maybe you had a good thing together for a while and they don't want to lose that, so they just want to see if you're open to the idea of friendship. As you may know, it can be just as hard to make friends sometimes as it is to find lovers, so this may be why they're reaching out. Now, I hope you can see already how a lot of these things, they're not exclusive of each other. They can all be related. Somebody could be in the middle of a breakup and then think that they maybe want to try a friendship. They may be hurting, and that's why they're reaching out. So the next one is all in that same vein, which may be that they're hurting and they want to reach out because they want to resolve some of those old strings that they left hanging at the end of your relationship. Maybe as time has passed, they've realized that the things that they did were not so good and they left you hanging, and they know that, and now they're mature enough to see that that probably hurt you and they want to rectify it. Yes, people do change. Maybe their partner broke up with them and they got hurt and they saw the other side of the coin now, and so they realized that the way that they hurt you was not okay and they want to do something about it. That doesn't mean that they want to get into a friendship or a relationship, but it could. You never really know where things go. Okay, moving along. The seventh reason why they may have texted you out of the blue is they may just want to be in touch with their children. It may not even be that they want to be in your life at all, but you are the one who has custody over their children, and their children matter to them, as they should. Every parent should have a good relationship with their children if they're able to. So even though you may have fought, even though things may have been terrible, now they just want to be able to talk with their children and have a relationship with them, and they should be allowed to have that as long as they are safe people for those children to be talking with. You know your situation better than anybody. Obviously, if they have been neglectful, if they have tried to reestablish connection before and they have not shown themselves to be good parents, then it's really up to you, as long as the law says, to decide what's good for your children and if these children should have a relationship with your ex, but really try to bend a little bit and see things from your children's perspective, because the children are the ones that really matter here, not what's going on between you and your ex. All right, moving along again to the eighth reason. The eighth reason is a pretty simple one. It could be that they're just wondering if you have something of theirs that they left behind from the relationship. Now, it's true, sometimes when we leave things behind, we're not actually caring about the item. We want to get in touch with the person that is our ex, so they may be trying to get in touch with you, not because they left something behind, but really they're just using that as an excuse to talk to you because maybe they're interested in being a friend or interested in more. But other times it could really just be about the item. It could be that they were afraid to ask for it when you were breaking up. Maybe things were very scary at that time. Maybe they withdrew. Maybe they're not good at communicating, and so time has passed. Now they want to know because the item's important to them. It may have sentimental value to them. Even if it doesn't make sense to you that it would, maybe it does to them. And yes, there's always the possibility that they've been maybe watching you on social media and they see that you're happy and they're jealous and they want to be a dick and try to hold something over your head. And they can do this with the children too, and they can do this with other stuff. I try to see the best in people and not assume that this is going on if I'm not absolutely sure that this is what's going on, but it's a possibility and it's something to consider. Moving on to the ninth reason that they may have texted you out of the blue, it could have actually just been an accident. Now I know you're thinking, like, who does that as an accident? Yeah, right. But yes, people do sometimes do things when they're not thinking straight. Maybe they've been partying, maybe they have been feeling really lonely, and they maybe have a mental illness where their judgment is impaired. Maybe they're impulsive. Now, of course, I don't advocate diagnosing somebody with a mental illness or deciding for somebody else how they are. You're not a psychiatrist. I'm not either. You're not a psychologist. You're not a therapist, most likely. And if you are, then you know that you shouldn't just be willy-nilly diagnosing people. But it's possible that this was an impulsive thing and now they're just kind of like going along with it because they're stuck. And the 10th reason I have talked about a little bit already, and that is that maybe they heard something about you, so it's not so out of the blue as it seems like it is to you. They may have been checking out your social media. They may have a friend in common with you that has told them something. They may feel jealous. They may be scared that they're losing you even though they're your ex. Could be any number of reasons, but it's possible that they have heard something and this is why they're reaching out. So maybe think about some things that have happened recently. Have you gotten together with somebody? Did you post a picture on social media looking all beautiful and wonderful as you are? Did you get a new job? Did you mention somebody new in your life? Like, anything could be the reason, but just know that it may not be completely out of the blue. You know, I mentioned that, yes, it could be impulsive, but it could also be very planned. All right, I think the thing to remember here, though, is that no matter what reason it is that your ex has texted you out of the blue, you do not have to react right away, and probably you shouldn't. You should take some time to think about things, wait until you're calm, and really evaluate what is it that you want. Do you want to talk with your ex? Do you want to give them what it is they're searching for? Would you want to be friends? Would you want to get back together with them? These are all things to consider. If your ex has texted you out of the blue, what is it that you think that they want? Let me know down below.